Hi everyone, my name's Anne-Marie. Welcome to this card making project. Today I thought we'd make a card for Dad. It's coming up in some places in the world for Father's Day, so I thought what better way than to use some of Anna Griffin's new embossing folders from the For Him bundle to make a glorious card for Dad. So I'm starting off with a 7x5 card base, as you can see on our cardometer for what size it is, just to give you an idea. Everything that I do use I'll put in the description box at the bottom with any links that I can add as well, either for product information or for you to be able to purchase the product. So I'm starting off with my card base, which was actually a 12x12 piece of card that I cut into the right size to make a 7x5 card base. So that is our card blank. The first thing that I've got to do is add the insert. So what I've done is I've made a very simple stamped insert using a sheet of ivory paper that I've stamped on, and it says, "I'm blessed to call you my dad, happy Father's Day." And this is from a range of stamps that Anna had out quite a while ago for the guys in our life. The layer of card that I've added the ivory base on, I've simply cut to size and then made two cut lines at the back and slipped the actual insert through them, just to give it a little bit of interest rather than it just be a plain old piece of ivory paper in the centre of our card. Very simple and very easy to do for any cards that you've got, and the only tool you'd need is maybe a cutting knife to make the actual lines. So that's our insert on our stand-up card, as you can see, and I'm just going to run my bone folder along there to make sure it's a nice sharp line for when it stands up, which it is. The next thing that I've done is I've got some black card that I've added double-sided tape to, and I'm going to add this as our first layer on our card front, and I'm just going to place that onto the card front like that. The next thing is the first of our embossed layers. Now this was using Anna's embossing folder from the For Him bundle, and it says Dad on it, and all I've done is run it through on a piece of Kraft card. I've not inked it, I've not done anything to it, I've just left it as it is, and that's going to be our next layer. So I've already added the double-sided tape. I've been asked again this week why I add double-sided tape to things before we get to it. It's for quickness, it's preparation, and it's just so that you don't have to see me add tape to everything as we go through the layers. So that is our embossed layer. The next thing I've done is I've used the embossing border folder as well from the same set with the one that matches this for Dad, and I've embossed it on the same coloured card, but I've inked this and I've used a white ink pad and a Tim Holtz distress ink pad. So it's sort of like I've done it a two-tone with the ink, and that is going to be matted and layered onto black before we put it onto the actual card. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to position it in the middle of the black so that there's a little bit hanging over at both sides. So in theory it looks like the different layers. So that's it onto black, and then I'm simply going to add the border layer across the centre of our card like this. Now sometimes it's very difficult to make for the man in your life because they can be quite difficult, which I know we shouldn't say that, but they can. And sometimes it's nice to get ideas of what we can do. Now this card could be adapted for Dad's birthday, anything to do with Dad. Very difficult for anybody else other than Dad. But I mean, it could be used for father-in-law as well. So don't just be thinking it's got to be Dad, because there's other people's dads as well, like your husband's, etc. So it's adaptable for different dads, if you see what I mean. Anyway, moving on. So the next thing that I've done is, out of one of Anna Griffin's kits, there's some trophies that are embellishments, and I've taken 2 of them. Now, I don't know if people do this in different countries where they add the ribbons round the actual handles of the trophies. So what I've done is I've added 2 ribbons. I've just tied it loosely on the actual handles. I've added 3D foam onto the back of it, and I'm going to position one trophy over the other, because then it creates its own 3D embellishment. So that will go over the top of that to create a 3D embellishment like that. And I've already added tape on the back of the base one, and I'm going to position this onto our card. I'm going to place it at an angle like that, and then using the same set of stamps that I used for the insert, where we've got "I'm blessed to call you my dad," I've got, it says "World's Best Dad," and I've simply matted and layered that onto matching card that I've already used throughout this project. And I'm just peeling the back of the foam pads away, there we go. And I'm going to position that at an opposite angle to the trophy. And I've just added 2 glue dots on either side of the actual sentiment. And then the last thing that I've got is a little bow, and I'm going to use a glue dot to attach the bow, and I'm going to fold the glue dot up because the little bow is smaller than the glue dot, so that will get placed on top of our sentiment like that, and that finishes off our card perfectly. As I say, it is adaptable to your dad, or maybe your stepdad or your father-in-law, and it's a great idea for men. You would be able to change the background, change the embossing folder. There's other ones in Anna's bundle that you'd be able to use your different men's sentiments with, but I think for a gentleman that makes a gorgeous card that you'd sometimes be stuck for ideas for and be pushed to know what to use it for. So I'd like to thank you so much for watching. If you've got any comments, any queries, anything that you'd like to say or share, please feel free, because I do love hearing from you. And I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you again next time.